Okay. I'm happy that I'm here again to discuss with the team about the various emerging trends that exist in ICT, and I want to base much on those that are applicable in our context as a developing country. So, yes, you realize that, yes, I'm going to talk about things that might have existed for some time in the developed world, but in the context of a developing country, there are things that are just coming up. So, I want to impact whereby if one of the consumers of this video are able to understand it, they can apply the knowledge, the skills, the techniques, and the practicability of what I'm talking about in various areas of practice. Talk about agriculture because I believe most of the developing countries, yeah, like now us in East Africa, based much on agriculture. I want someone to consume this and they are able to even, practice it in manufacturing, in education, in various sectors. So today I want to really focus on some few areas of emerging trends that are existing in the ICT industry in the context of a developed and a developing country as well. So now I want to begin with the listing a few, and I want us to think about what we call IoT, that is Internet of Things. We are going to understand exactly what is meant by IoT or Internet of Things. The beauty about ICT is that most of the terminologies, names are derived from what that particular technology performs. As you can hear, Internet of Things, meaning that there are quite a number of stuff we are referring to in this case that are interlinked together to perform, related tasks. But we are going to look at it. Then we are going to look at blockchain. Then we are going to look at what we call cloud computing, whereby now in cloud computing, we shall basically be simply, looking at how do we put, computing services together. Talk about things like the servers, talk about things like the databases, networking, talk about storage and other internet, service related. So instead of doing your functions and the services physically. Here in cloud computing, we are looking at how do we now perform, how do we perform or what we want to perform, but in a virtual format, you get. So then we are going to talk about automation, we are going to talk about cybersecurity, and probably also look at what we call artificial intelligence. Yeah. Now, when we talk about cloud, let's now try to discuss cloud. Uh, why cloud? Yeah, because yes, this is an emerging trend, but we would ask ourselves. That is why I always encourage my video consumers that yes, in life, always consider much what we call the 5WH. Once something is brought on board on ground, now like we're talking about the emerging trends in ICT, you need to understand what emerging trends in IT. If now we are talking about talk about like a cloud, you need to understand what cloud is. You get the way how I've told you. I will explain this not basing on the clear definitions, but rather I'm going to focus much on how best can you understand it? Yeah, the way I've told you that cloud, we are looking at a way how we can put computing services, things like servers, databases, talk about networking, talk about software, talk about the storage over the internet. You get, yeah, how do we get the storage? How do we get databases, networking, and we put it onto the internet, whereby whatever we need to perform, instead of storing content on your local machine, but now we are shifting it to what? to internet. This is what we are referring to when it comes to what? To cloud. Now we are like, why cloud? I told you about the 5WH. You need to know the what. I've already explained what cloud computing is. Then the why, you get. You need to know the how, you get. You need to know the when, you get, to whom. So there you get to understand the value of that particular concept. So now, when we talk about cloud, why cloud? You realize that yes, cloud is one of the innovative ways, yeah, where people can really perform quite a number of tasks, yeah, whereby people no longer struggle with storing content on various disks, but rather they decide to use, what we call cloud for their stuff. Yeah. Now, uh, cloud, as you hear cloud is space, you get. Yes, in actual sense, the content we store in the cloud does not actually stay in the cloud. Only that we don't know exactly the physical part where our content is kept. That is why we keep referring to it as being where in the cloud. But in real sense, this content is somewhere in some servers. For example, Google as a search engine. Google has various server centers where it keeps all the searches, all the content, whereby now once you enter your search into Google, you enter your prefix. Yeah, now this client machine where you're basing is going to go and fetch data from that particular other computer from Google, which is the server, and give you feedback. You get. So in that sense, being that most of the people don't know where exactly these servers are, that is why we always refer to them as cloud-based, but they are somewhere. You get. So it brings faster innovation. Then there is flexible resource whereby anytime, anywhere you can access your resources without limitation. And then you realize that yes, it also brings what we call economies of scale, yeah, whereby people no longer need to incur a lot of money, yeah, because now being that you are giving value to cloud computing, you don't need even to own machines in case they are very expensive. But so long as you have internet somewhere with any device, you can always have access to your content. So lower operational costs, whereby sometimes technology in developing countries seems to be quite expensive to set up, but once you have cloud computing, you can eliminate some gadgets and rather, always access your content online. Yeah. So, in this industry of cloud computing, we have what we call popular and big players in this industry. And there is no way how you can talk about cloud computing and you don't mention Microsoft with their popular service called Azure. You get, yeah, developers use Azure and the project managers also use Azure boards, whereby you realize that it stores most of the stuff online for you, and then you realize that the Azure of Microsoft has been proved to be one of the best cloud computing platforms, we can talk about at the moment, and it has gained the popularity everywhere. Yeah, both in developed and in developing countries. Then Amazon also has one of their uh, cloud computing service, which is Amazon Web Services, whereby it is also a popular one that at least I cannot leave this session without mentioning. Then Google Cloud, yes, at least this one majority have applied and have used it before. The way you can go to your email and then keep your content, keep your CVs, keep your pictures on your email, you get. So all the time you access it, you are enjoying the services of cloud computing. Yeah, talk about Google Drive, talk about OneDrive, Google, talk about Dropbox, talk about Gmail, you know. anything stored in the cloud is always cloud computing. Yeah, and I believe everyone, at least majority, have enjoyed the services of cloud computing, because once you own an email, you get automatically you are already in the industry of what, cloud computing. Then, yeah, number two that I want to share with you is blockchain. And now, as you hear the term block, you get, yeah, there is a chain, but it is being blocked. You get blockchain. The most popular blockchain example I can talk about at least is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gained the popularity, and most of the people at least have testified its authenticity and the uh, kind of popularity. Yeah, people have used Bitcoin for quite some time, and yeah, they're enjoying its services. It's a digital accounting system. You get, for example, on the internet, that cannot be easily manipulated. You get, so. This is something that is incorruptible in nature, whereby it provides digital ledger of economic transactions that can be programmed to record not just financial transactions, of course, but also the virtual uh, uh, mm, transactions of almost everything you get, so long as that something has value. Normally this blockchain is always there to add value. So you can't block these chains, like I said. You get, these chains are unblocked. You cannot, yeah, it is something that whereby no one would get to know about what your transaction is all about unless they have access of your credentials, they have access to your account. You get, so these transactions are always secure unless you allow people to share money through your accounts. Now, here in this case, people can transact monetary kind of transactions without having a middleman. The way how you can base from here and then send it direct to someone's online account without passing it through a certain bank. I don't know if I'm making some sense here. The way how you see peer to peer, you get. So you're basing on your Bitcoin account and then send it to another colleague who is using the same without this money going through the bank. You get, yeah, whereby it doesn't use any bank to authorize the transaction, whereby people just share money through these apps. You get, probably I will add a link at least where you can go and study more about cloud, I mean blockchain and Bitcoin in particular. Yeah. Then let's also now talk about what we call the IoT, the Internet of Things. Yeah. Now, basically, like, this is like controlling your TV with the remote. You get Internet of Things, meaning that yes, we have uh, some things, like now we have the TV, then we have probably we have the remote and other content and the other stuff you get. So now, basically, the way you can control your TV, using what, a remote. In that sense, we are applying what we call Internet of Things, whereby you control everything remotely, the way you can remotely control your freezer, control your lights, security lights, control your security doors. I mean, when you are not there, you can control microwave, you can control, the oven and everything. The way you can keep turning them on and off, the way people no longer need to physically be in an area for them to perform a certain task, because now, well, the world has changed, whereby uh, sometimes, let's assume you just leave home, and by the time you leave home, it is still a bit early, it is still dark, so you don't need to switch off your lights due to security reasons, meaning that you need to leave lights on, and then yeah, probably once you settle at work or somewhere after reaching your destination, when it is now during the time, you can just place some commands on your phone, and then lights from home are able to do what? To go off. Yeah, you get, because yeah, your phone is connected to your lights at home. Internet of things, that is internet between your phone and your lights. So by all means, for internet of things to perform, to actually realize, to get uh, uh, more active, it is always powered by internet. You get, yeah, once you have internet, then it becomes easier for you to connect various things together, hence forming what we call the internet of things. In our context as a developing country, what is still hindering this kind of emerging trend to prosper at a very high speed is the sustainability of batteries on these various components. Otherwise, yeah, people would be very far in terms of using the internet of things, whereby you don't need to move from maybe your sitting room to go to bedroom, that is to pick a certain stuff. Once you have internet connected to almost each and everything of yours that you want to use, it will be just a matter of applying some code, and then you place some commands, then these items are able to cooperate and probably do as instructed. You get. So the logic is to connect these devices through internet. You get, without physically, engaging them or touching them, things of that kind. So internet of things is only and only, I repeat, is only and only possible where there is what? Internet. You get. Yeah, and the reason as to why it is still at a low consumption levels in developing countries, it is because internet itself, it is still at low levels of consumption. Yeah, because it, first of all, it is still expensive, the bandwidth is still low. You realize that some places don't have even power. You get. So really, it is, that is why it is still a finding difficulties to probably move at the rate expected. And then you realize that this content or these things have to be connected and able to share share data. So you can add the automation to internet of things. For example, walking into the supermarket, and then the supermarket machine is able to detect your presence and then suggest items that you could be interested in based on previous buying experience. You get. In case maybe I always walk into the supermarket and I go straight to the bakery and pick bread and some donuts and then blue band, I walk away. So the next time I come, I do the same. So the next time I come, a supermarket machine is able to detect my presence and then able to suggest and probably also direct me where my most likely items are, in that sense. So that is Internet of Things, of course, hand in hand with automation. So or some of the major components of Internet of Things that we can talk about. We can talk about things or devices. Yeah. Then we can talk about what we call things like gateways, things like maybe networking. So basically, here still it is more of interlinked to cloud. You get, yeah, because your content being, the devices being connected together, and then they are able to share content. So analytics, user interfaces, and so on. So basically, then I want to share with you something small also on the cybersecurity, yeah, whereby uh, cybersecurity is when you get techniques, practices, processes, and knowledge plus skills to probably protect systems. You protect networks, you protect programs from digital attacks. I want to be clear on this. When we talk about cybersecurity, we are talking about ways, techniques, skills, knowledge, processes that we have to apply or go through to protect, first of all, systems, to protect software, to protect programs, to protect networks, and the other softy content details, of course, from the digital attacks. Yeah, because the way how you see that the internet has captured our attention, the more the information on internet has become vulnerable to digital attacks. So meaning that yes, we need to find ways. The same way how I one time told you in one of my videos that the day, the day, uh, you release the software is the day almost it becomes the day you release a software is the day it becomes expired, because yeah, guys are also at the back end trying to come up with the programs which are viruses that can challenge and overtake your product. So that is why yes, internet has gained the popularity, but at the same time we have what we call digital attacks at rampant rate. So by all means, we need to take cybersecurity as one of the areas as a developing country we should take into concern as one of the emerging trends that we need to give attention and then apply for better safety of our digital content. These cyber attacks are aimed at, of course, accessing, changing, manipulating, destroying sensitive what? Information. Yeah, that is sometimes they can also be aimed at extorting money from users or even interrupting what? Normal business processes. So basically that is what cyber attacks target. So since uh, cloud computing is popular and a lot of course, data is being run online or through the internet, you realize that, for example, very many people are on Google, very many people are on Facebook, very many people use Dropbox, very many people use Google Drive. So data becomes more risky in this case. So that is why we need to understand what cybersecurity is and then how we can do it, apply it in various areas of specialization. And then, yeah, that is what I have to share with you for now. I think we can really meet again and then discuss something beyond that. Otherwise, I appreciate and thanks for your participation. In case of any question, you can always share, and then I'm able to respond at any time. Bye bye.